Close your eyes for a moment. Imagine standing on the banks of the Yamuna River, just as the sun begins to bleed into the horizon. The air here is heavy, not with heat, but with memory. It smells of damp earth, night-blooming jasmine, and the ancient dust of centuries. Across the dark, flowing water, rising like a frozen prayer into the indigo sky, is the Taj Mahal. It does not look like stone. It looks like a soul that has finally found peace. Today, we leave the frantic pace of the modern world behind to trace the pulse of a love story that refused to be forgotten by time itself. Breathe in, breathe out. Let the current of history carry us back to the age of emperors, poets, and architects. We are about to enter a world where stone speaks the language of the heart. Our story begins in the bustling, chaotic beauty of the Mina Bazaar centuries ago. Imagine the sensory overload, the shouting of silk merchants, the rhythmic clinking of glass beads, the aroma of saffron, cardamom, and expensive musk. Through this vibrant crowd walks Prince Khurram. He is the son of an emperor, handsome and surrounded by guards. Yet he is searching for something he hasn't found in his palaces. Then, the world seems to go quiet. He sees Arjuman Banu Begum. She is only 14, selling silk, her eyes reflecting the light of 1,000 unspoken dreams. It wasn't a mere meeting, it was a cosmic collision. A spark was lit in that marketplace that would one day burn in the form of a white marble dome, a beacon for all of humanity. They were forced to wait 5 long, agonizing years before their fates could finally entwine. Can you imagine the strength of a love that grows stronger in the quiet, painful silence of waiting? In 1612, they were wed. It was a celebration that redefined luxury. The prince gave her a new name, Mumtaz Mahal, the chosen one of the palace. This was not just a title of royalty, it was a declaration. She wasn't merely his wife. She was his conscience, his advisor, and the mirror of his soul. Their bond was the invisible foundation of the entire Mughal Empire, a quiet power that moved behind the throne, unseen but deeply felt. Prince Khurram ascended to the throne as Shah Jahan, the king of the world. Imagine their life together, a symphony of power and beauty. While the world saw an emperor, Mumtaz saw only her husband. She traveled with him across the vast expanse of India, living in silken tents, sharing the blistering heat of the desert campaigns and the biting cold of mountain winters. They were not 2 separate people. They were a singular soul living in 2 bodies. These were the 19 golden years, a time of peace, art, and profound devotion. But life, my friends, is a river that never stops flowing, and even the most beautiful currents must one day meet the sea. In 1631, the melody of their existence took a sudden tragic turn. In the middle of a military campaign in Burhanpur, destiny arrived in the form of a shadow. Mumtaz Mahal, after the birth of their 14th child, felt the light of her life slowly fading. Imagine the absolute crushing grief of an emperor who could command the greatest armies in history, yet could not command a single extra breath for the woman he adored. In her final moments, she whispered a promise that he would build a monument worthy of their love, a place where her memory would never die. He gave his word. And in that singular moment, the king of the world lost his kingdom. They say the sun went out for Shah Jahan the day she closed her eyes. For 8 days, he stayed locked in his chambers, refusing to see the light of day. For 2 years, he wore no royal colors, listened to no music, and ignored the petitions of his court. His dark, youthful hair turned bone white, a physical map of his internal, jagged sorrow. This wasn't just sadness, it was the total collapse of his reality. And yet, from the dark void of his depression, a grand vision began to emerge. It was the birth of an architectural miracle, forged not in joy, but in the white-hot furnace of a broken heart. He chose the banks of the Yamuna River for a specific reason. He wanted Mumtaz's tomb to be a paradise on earth. He wanted her to look out from her resting place and see the river flowing, a symbol of life's continuity, of the journey that never ends. He called together the greatest minds of the age, master architects from Persia, brilliant calligraphers from Arabia, and skilled stonecutters from the heart of India. The planning wasn't just about constructing a tomb, it was about geometry, balance, and the divine order of the universe. Every measurement was a reflection of heavenly harmony. Why white marble? In a world dominated by red sandstone, white was the color of the soul. It was the color of purity, of mourning, and of truth. Imagine the sheer, staggering scale of the project: 20,000 workers, 1,000 giant elephants, and white marble hauled from Makrana 200 miles away. The sound of the construction was like a constant heartbeat, rhythmic, persistent, and eternal. Every strike of the hammer was a prayer, every polished slab a love letter. They were not just building a monument, they were building an obsession. Look closer at the walls if you are ever there. You don't see mere paintings, you see stone living, breathing, and blooming. This is Pietra Dura, the incredibly difficult art of inlaying precious stones into marble. Lapis lazuli from Afghanistan, green jade from China, glowing carnelian from Arabia. They carved flowers that would never wilt, calligraphy that would never fade. When you touch these walls, you aren't touching a cold building. You are touching the infinite patience of 22 years of human labor. It is a testament to what humanity can achieve when driven by pure emotion. Everything in the Taj Mahal is balanced because symmetry is the language of peace. 4 minarets stand like sentinels around the central dome, leaning slightly outward to protect the tomb in case of a natural disaster. The gardens are divided into 4 squares, a reflection of the Garden of Paradise. Everything is deliberate. Everything is a message to Mumtaz. I am still here. I have not forgotten. This symmetry represents the order of the universe, a calm amidst the chaos of human life. The Taj Mahal is not a static object. It is a living entity. At dawn, it is soft, blushing like a young bride experiencing her first light. At midday, it is blindingly white, commanding the attention of the sun and the sky. At night, under the full silver moon, it glows like a ghost of light, ethereal and haunting. It breathes with the shifting colors of the day, a constant companion to the celestial bodies that circle it, forever faithful to the woman who lies within. But even the brightest light casts a long, dark shadow. Shah Jahan's sons fought viciously for the throne, and his own son, Aurangzeb, betrayed him, imprisoning the old emperor in the Agra fort. For 8 long, lonely years, the man who built a masterpiece was a prisoner. He could no longer visit the Taj Mahal. He could only look at it through a small window, across the river. Imagine that old man, alone, staring at his own creation, watching the seasons wash over the marble as his life slowly ebbed away. In 1666, Shah Jahan passed away. His final whispered wish was to be beside his wife. His son, perhaps out of a last shred of respect, allowed him to be buried inside the Taj Mahal, right next to Mumtaz. After decades of loss, they were finally, eternally reunited in the cool, silent marble halls. Their tombs lie side by side, silent witnesses to a promise kept, finally free from the burdens of power, war, and time. Today, millions walk through those gates. They come for the photos, yes, but they stay for the story. The Taj Mahal is a victory of love over death. It tells us that while we are fragile, the things we create from love are immortal. It reminds us to cherish the people in our lives before they become memories. It shows us that greatness isn't just about conquests. It's about the depth of our capacity to feel. The campfire is dying down, and the stars are reflecting in the water, just as they do in the long, still pool of the Taj Mahal. History is not just dates and names, it is the human heart, stripped bare. Thank you for walking this path with me. Your own life is a monument in the making. What will you build with your love? What legacy will you leave when the fire burns low? Stay in the flow, stay curious, and carry this story with you as you continue your journey. Goodbye.